Why does it sometimes seem like the efforts your organization put together to run a new community outreach program, to engage a new group of people, to do something good in the community, don't work out? They don't go as planned. They feel like they failed. You don't feel like you got the results you hoped from putting together the program that you put together. It can be discouraging, and a lot of times it can leave people saying, well, we tried that, it didn't work, so we're not going to do it again. You can avoid that. Your organization's programs don't have to fail. They can succeed. They can have measurable, quantifiable impact. But it's really important to ask first, did the program or project that you put together actually fail? It depends on how you're measuring the program. For example, maybe your initial goal was to have 100 people achieve specific results. However, if your organization helped 1 or 2 people achieve very dramatic results, who will then go out and make a positive impact in their community and be able to contribute to their networks in a new way, maybe the program really was successful, even though it didn't achieve the metrics you specifically set out to achieve in the first place. The other thing to consider is that community impact programs aren't always necessarily designed to have scale to be impactful. Sometimes scale and impact don't go hand in hand. There are things that may not be replicable from one organization to another. You have certain people involved, certain policies, certain dynamics in one particular situation that makes a program impactful in one place that it doesn't in another. That's the thing about community engagement work. Every community has a unique set of factors. Let me tell you a story about a program that my organization ran that wouldn't be considered largely successful by any significant measure, but one that I consider to be very successful because of the impact that it made on the people that it served. Several years ago, I ran a community development financial institution, or CDFI credit union. CDFIs are organizations that are designed to serve people who are traditionally shut out of the financial services sector, typically people who are struggling financially. And we noticed repetitively that people would come in and ask to close their bank account because they needed the remaining funds in the account to buy food. We were concerned about this because we felt like nobody should have to choose between having a stable bank account and being able to eat. So what my team decided to do was put together a small food exchange. In some parts of the country, these have grown in popularity, but basically we just put a small basket of food in our lobby of canned goods and non-perishables that people could come and go and take without question. We did see a decline in account closures as a result of putting this food pantry basket in our lobby. And we began to notice other people who are using the credit union services come in and begin to contribute food to the food basket as well. It was becoming a community initiative, even though we specifically started it. And it got a little bit of local attention. A few local resources listed our food exchange in their list of resources, but it never got any big publicity or any big attention or any big sort of funding in any way. It was just a community initiative, but one that helped people in our immediate space address a tangible need that affected their lives. So the program itself wasn't big and exciting and got a ton of attention, as I just said, but regardless, it was one that actually had an impact on what was happening to the people that our organization was serving. So I'd consider that program a success, even though it wasn't a huge program. But let's say you put together a community impact program of some sort and it really doesn't work out. You really are unhappy with the results and you feel like it didn't connect with the community in the way that you hoped it would. There's one key reason why programs fall short of expectations, and that is because of lack of external validation. It is very common for organizations to not go through the process of finding out what's happening in the community. Many times what happens is people see some sort of need, like people needing food, and say, let's put something together to address it. Maybe it's something as simple as putting together a food basket in a lobby. That's a very low effort initiative that doesn't take a lot of time or resources, and many organizations can do things like that. But those types of programs aren't necessarily designed to have measurable impact. They're designed to provide an immediate service. But your program that you put all this time and effort into, you want it to have an impact because of all of the energy that you put into putting this program together. What can happen is organizations see the challenge that they're trying to solve, but then try to solve it from their own perspective. Not 100% sure why this happens, but it's almost as if when it comes to solving a social problem, organizations and groups of people tend to think that they don't need to go through the market research process. And that's likely because the market research process, quote unquote, looks a little bit different when you're addressing a social problem than it does when you're trying to develop a new tangible physical product. But you want to go out and talk to people in the community that are being affected to make sure that what you are proposing to do is going to have the effect that you think it will have before you put the time, energy, and effort into putting the program together. There are 3 key reasons organizations don't take the time to put together the research necessary to run a successful program. And these reasons are very common. One is that organizations are busy. People are busy. We have lives and demands and expectations and deadlines. And so regardless of the organization, whether it's a large corporation or a nonprofit with a very small team, people often feel too busy to take the time and go out and find out what's happening in the community. It's not unusual. If this is one of the reasons your organization hasn't gone through this process, you're not alone. The second reason people don't always take the time to go through this process is because they're making a lot of internal assumptions. They might know something about the issue from something that they've read or seen in the media, but they still don't understand the day-to-day barriers and challenges and the hyper-specific situations that impact that issue or the community being served or the issue being addressed. And then the third common reason that people don't do the research is that they feel like they have a lack of resources. Maybe they feel like they need to bring in an external third party or somebody from the outside who has an academic degree, who can do the research, and they feel like they don't have the money to do the research needed to find out what the community challenge actually is. The good news is that doing the research, the number one thing that will solve this problem, community research rather than market research, doesn't have to take a lot of financial resources. It requires only 3 things. One is to listen while setting aside assumptions. It's a very common challenge that many people have. We like to talk, we like to express our ideas, we like to share what we know about a subject. But when conducting community research, you want to talk to people affected, put aside your assumptions, and listen to what they have to say. When you listen, you might find that there are some unique challenges that you hadn't thought of in your process. You're finding out what the actual day-to-day lives look like of people experiencing a specific type of problem, just like you would for product research. The second thing that you need to do to conduct research is to be curious. When you're talking to people and listening and asking questions, you want to ask questions that lead to the next topic. So for instance, if somebody says something that catches your attention, if you feel like they're really fixated on something, as you're listening and paying attention, you ask a question about the angle that they've taken about the issue, and that's when you can find out even more interesting information, things that might be outside of your box or your circles. But those key points that people are making are often the things that they feel are important to solving the issue. The third thing is to talk to a diverse group of people. And by diverse group of people, it doesn't necessarily mean racially diverse or gender diverse or age diverse, although all of those are important. It means talking to the people who might be using the service or participating in what you're hoping to engage people around. It means talking to leaders in the space, maybe to some elected officials, to potential partners, to stakeholders, to other organizations that are working to address the problem to find out what's going on. The key thing that you need to do all of this is to get a little bit outside of your comfort zone. A lot of people don't like to do cold outreach, but people are actually surprisingly friendly and willing to talk when you're interested in their lives and interested in what you can do to address a problem that they're facing. And taking time to do the research will save you significant amounts of time and greatly increase the chances that your program will be successful and meet the objectives that you are hoping to achieve with it. I did a project for a client. They were trying to solve a specific problem in their community around affordable housing. And I'm somebody who does come in as a third party and do this type of research for organizations. But as I've just walked you through, you can do it for yourself. In this case, I was doing it for them. And as I went into the community and talked to people on their behalf, I found a number of interesting potential partners. One of them I was able to make introductions to the organization to, and they continued the relationship. A year later, I went back and followed up and asked that partner what they thought about the work that they did with this particular organization over time. And here's what the organization had to say about it. They said this organization was a key partner who was really tackling an issue from a grassroots perspective and paying attention to what was happening and creating real solutions. That is the type of feedback that you want from your community engagement efforts. So take the time to do the research, listen, be curious, talk to a diverse group of people, and get outside your comfort zone. Good luck on your next community initiative, and I trust that you'll be successful. My name is Sarah Hope Marshall, founder of Profound Hope Industries. We work with mission-driven nonprofits, CDFIs, and businesses to help them create change that leads to quantifiable impact, stronger organizational culture, and greater efficiency. Like and subscribe so we can continue to create more content for you.